What about, I guess I'm curious with, you're in a high school years here. And 8 years was mentioned. Where from 12, so that'd been 12 to 20?
Yeah.
What changed at that point 8 years later?
Yeah. So 12 to 15 was kind of like the getting restricted. And then 15 was when the 8 years started of just medical formula, rice and pears. Yeah. So it was 15 to 23. So
gotcha.
For 8 years, really, I just kind of came to terms with, probably never going to tolerate more food again. And just kind of lived my life for the most part. I kind of stopped food trialing and started just cheating on my diet and just being like, screw it. I'm going to go. I grew up in Texas, so I'd go eat at Whataburger and just down some really good food there. And then I'd be throwing up in the toilet that night and just kind of be like, hey, it was worth it. I needed it. And my friends would be like, oh no, Zach, you're not going to like that later on. But they kind of thought it was funny. But I kind of just like stopped putting in the effort for food trialing and just kind of living life. Still lots of ups and downs. It's such a mental burden to be around people eating. But I definitely I learned so much in these 8 years. It was so difficult, but it taught me, one, being negative doesn't change your circumstance. That's kind of how I was from 12 to 15. And then I was forced on medical formula. And I was like, geez, well, if I can't change anything, why should I be an annoying person to be around? I should try and, focus on what I can control, connect with people. That should be my focus when going out to eat. I have the rice cakes now, so it's not as awkward. But still struggled a lot mentally. And yeah, swimming was a good outlet, but throughout those 8 years, just kind of navigating life, I ended up going to college for a year. And then I went on a church service mission for about a year and a half. And when I came back, I was living my life again, trying to, just move forward. But in 2020, there was it wasn't a clinical trial, but my doctor, I should say, I moved to Utah to go to school. And so I ended up meeting with doctors in Utah, and they ended up having some samples of a medicine that seemed pretty promising. And they had tried everything in the book. I'm kind of a rare case with this chronic illness. And so they're like, Zach, we want you to eat something again. So let's just try this out. And I didn't think much of it. And it ended up helping me tolerate food, at least for the first time, which was pretty incredible.
Wow. Yeah, that is incredible. So when you said for the first time you could tolerate it, no side effects, no sickness, no pains, or was it just kind of, I guess, was it dulling those things?
I'd say dulling at first. But after about 6 months, I stopped having stomach pain. And I'd rarely have stomach pain, but I'd still get quite a bit of fatigue. So I wasn't sure if I was absorbing the nutrients very well. So I still, drank the medical formula and pushed forward with that for the nutritional side of it. But just, I guess, 2024 now. So it'll be 4 years in about a month that I've been able to, increase my diet to the point where I don't have to restrict it anymore.
Wow. That's amazing. And so this medicine, and you said you tried it, you had good results from it. You continue to take that today. Is it the formula or the medicine stayed the same, or is that kind of changed with time?
Yeah. So when I should mention, at the end of high school, I drank medical formula by mouth for 3 years up to that point. So I was 18, about to go to college. Okay. And I remember thinking, I don't think I can drink this by mouth without going insane. Like, I am so sick of this nasty vanilla flavor. And so I ended up deciding to get a G tube or a feeding tube just to make it easier, so I wouldn't have to taste it anymore. And so after high school, that was kind of helpful to not be able to have to taste it and just kind of inject the formula in. But after 2020, I started reintroducing foods. I still had that port or G tube just to inject the formula. And it wasn't until I was nervous because, eating again is great, but it's also nerve wracking because what if things go back to where they were? What if I, can't eat food again? What if something goes wrong? Because for so long I didn't have control. And so after about 2 years in 2022, I felt confident enough where I was eating enough and my nutrition levels were high enough that I was able to remove the feeding tube, the G tube for good. So I have a little scar. It's like my second belly button. But yeah, I love the scar. It's kind of cool. It's a little reminder of where I've come from. But yeah, I got that out in 2022 and I've just been relying on food only for the past 2 years.
Wow. Well, congratulations, getting to that point. I know obviously it wasn't an easy road to get there. And have you said you coped with swimming kind of helped you. It was your kind of outlet, in the high school years, right? But what did you do to cope outside of that when you went to college, right? And as you get into your 20s, like how were you coping with it?
Yeah.
Emotionally, mentally,
For sure. So swimming was a great outlet, but after high school, I wanted to swim in college, which was actually one of the reasons I wanted to get a feeding tube so I could inject a ton of formula and get big, so to speak. But I wasn't quite fast enough to swim in college, which was great. That would have been a huge commitment. And so it was nice to kind of take a break from swimming. Aside from swimming, I like to make wraps a lot. More so high school years, beginning of college, of just like my rice cakes and pears situation and, how hard it is to be around people who can eat food, kind of making jokes of like, I feel like I'm a dog eating the same thing every day. So I'd kind of like, if there's a niche in the music industry for people who can only eat rice cakes and pears, I was that guy. So it's very specific type of music. But I would just do it if it felt like a release. Another way I coped was really just like allowing myself to feel frustrated and giving myself the opportunity and space to just let it out. Whether that was going on a drive or venting to my mom. I had a great support system. I usually felt better. It was almost like my cup of tolerance was filling all the time of this is really difficult. I don't feel well. And then it would start overflowing. And that was when I was like, okay, I gotta get this out somehow. So that was really nice. I'd say the other outlet was spirituality and just kind of prayer, understanding that God, my belief is I thought God was out to get me at the beginning. I thought he hated me. I thought he was punishing me. And then I kind of came to the realization through prayer, scripture, and just kind of, trying to connect with my faith that that's not the case. This is just the reality of life. Things just don't always go our way. And so I would get strength with that spiritually to just keep moving forward.
Wonderful. And the fact that you had that outlet and even once again, reinforced, obviously no one is out to get you, right? Like this wasn't just one of the things that happened. So when you were coping with this and you going to the doctor and all these things that you've done as far as on the long journey you had, have you ever met anyone with your condition or illness, disease?
Yeah.
Along the way?
That's a great question. Not so high school. No. Oh, there was one person who was actually on MTV. It was like the series True Life, where they show like these different situations with people. Like there's some weird episodes where a guy eats couch cushions and then where someone else is like allergic to everything, which happened to be this guy. His name was Zeke. Okay. But I met him in person. And at the time I was too cool. I was like, I don't want to like be friends with people who can't eat. But I realized shortly, I probably should count my blessings here. But going to college, I think I met a few people. One memory that pops up is I went to a water park and I had the G tube and I owned it. I didn't really care. People always stared, but I remember in the line waiting for a water slide, a kid taps on my shoulder and he goes, "Hey, look." and he points to his stomach and he has the feeding tube. He's like, dude, no way.
Oh my
And it was
goodness.
kind of a light bulb moment for me to like look outside myself and connect with this very small community that is struggling just as much, or if not more than me. And it was really cool to be able to kind of like connect and laugh about our situation and kind of just like form our little club, so to speak. But that was really cool. But I over the years, I've met more and more people who have EOE, just not as severe.
Is there any, I guess, organizations, foundations, or anything to support those with that condition?
Yeah. So there's two solid organization. One is called AppFed, and Cured, which is my favorite. I mean, they're all great. They're trying to, help find a cure. But Cured, I really like because the founder has a child with it, and all the proceeds 100% go to research. So there's no cost or everything you're donating is going towards an actual cure. And so I really like that foundation a lot. They do a lot of good.
Wonderful. And I said you met that young child. You said to connect with him, and once again, I think especially being older, right, and showing that hey, like you can manage this, you can live life. There's more, like don't let it get you down, and be there to help one another out, right? Like so, you said about community because it's kind of a club.
Yeah.
Do you actively, obviously, in the world today with technology and groups and things, do you participate in any type of groups, and whether it's helping others or giving other ones, just that inspiration to know that you can live a normal life? Hi, I'm Mark Thomas, founder and CEO of Current Tech Solutions and Cyber Guardians. If you or someone you know could benefit from our cutting-edge IT and cybersecurity services, we'd love to help. Our expertise in securing your business with AI precision ensures that you're protected and empowered to thrive. Reach out to us today to learn how we can secure and elevate your business.